Good afternoon, I'm Ray Collins. A search is on for a missing rower from Cuba. The Sarasota County Sheriff's Office says this woman, Lisette Hernandez Lucia, was last seen Wednesday night. She's competing in the World Rowing Championship at Nathan Betterson Park in Sarasota. The Cuban rowing team officially reported her missing yesterday after she did not show up for their morning race. Trial is expected to continue all next week. The Northport Police Department has arrested 26-year-old Marquise Chapa Harris in connection to the death earlier this week near the Heron Creek Golf Club. Harris is facing 2 felony charges, which include second-degree murder of 22-year-old Jaquez River. He is also charged with possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. On Monday night, Harris got into a dispute with Rivers regarding a previous burglary of money and drugs. The dispute escalated with him shooting him at one point, they say. Police found the handgun and were able to trace it to Harris. The investigation is continuing. A jury will reconvene in 2 weeks to decide the fate of a 20-year-old Bradenton man. That jury found this man, 20-year-old Trey Nanambre, guilty yesterday in a fatal home invasion 2 years ago on Southern Parkway in Manatee County. This surveillance video shows 3 men breaking into a home where a couple inside was killed, where their 5 children slept nearby. Detectives say it was not a random hit. One of the other suspects has yet to go to trial. The third has taken a plea deal of 25 years in prison in exchange for testifying against the other 2 men. Nanambre could face the death penalty when the sentencing phase begins on October 11th. The State College of Florida getting ready to open a new 74-acre campus in Parrish. It'll develop the new programs to help the community and also have some familiar favorites as well, like the AA transfer and the various work programs. The president of SCF says this was part of their vision from the beginning.
Incumbent upon us, our generation of leaders, to start thinking about the future, 20, 30, 40 years from now, for the State College of Florida and how we can service our community. So from that perspective, we just said we needed to be where the community is growing and where the community needs us to be, and we need to be offering the programs the community needs us to offer.
And the president says they chose this location based on studies of student population. It'll take 3 to 5 years before they can start building, but they will try to develop some temporary programs for the nearby high school, which opens in 2019. All right, all eyes on the weekend weather. What do you have for us, John Sculson?
Well, it's kind of a messy forecast, to tell you the truth. There's a lot of ingredients involved in it, and some of them have started to develop, others haven't. And so it's difficult. One thing I can tell you is it's going to be a wetter weekend. No doubt about that. We'll have more showers around, starting off that way already with a lot more cloud cover aloft. Putting the Van Wezel webcam into motion, you can see that kind of low-hanging cloud that has been kind of persistent from time to time, mixed with a little bit of sunshine. We're not seeing as much daylight as we have over the last 24 hours, and consequently, I don't think our temperature will be quite as warm. It'll still be humid outside, and certainly the feels-like temperature will be kind of uncomfortable in the afternoon. We're watching moisture lift north from down in the Caribbean. You can see the cloud cover just to the south of Cuba. Kind of a complicated situation down there as we see several areas, actually, that are kind of suspect. And today, the shift in that cluster of clouds south of Cuba is a little further to the west. So, you know, we're going to be watching this area very carefully. A low-pressure area may well develop in Gulf waters. May also see one develop in Atlantic waters, too. But all of that moisture will certainly bring us better rain chances. We'll look for about a 40% chance before we're done today. And over the weekend, much higher than that. We'll talk all about it coming up in a few. Back to you, Ray.
All right, thank you, John. Trial is underway at this hour for a former Sarasota County Sheriff Deputy, Frank Bybee, accused of forging checks and trying to suffocate 80-year-old Marcia Soul. Today, the jury saw the checks that Frank Bybee allegedly wrote out to himself and relatives from the alleged victim's checkbooks. A document analyst described the writing on those checks as appearing traced and simulated. There they are. She also showed comparisons of checks knowingly written out by the alleged victim and the ones written out by Bybee, comparing the differences in penmanship. The defense argued that the alleged victim's handwriting could change over time because of age or a medical event.
A lot of the writing in these question checks tended to fall on the baseline versus the known writing samples of Ms. Soul tended to be more above the baseline.
The trial is expected to continue all next week and get to the jury by a week from today. Bybee is facing over a dozen felony counts, including attempted murder. He has pleaded not guilty. Sad story here. A 4-year-old boy is dead after drowning in a community pool near Palm Beach County. The boy reportedly spent 7 days in a medically induced coma before being pronounced dead. As they were leaving the pool that day, his mother stopped to talk to a neighbor, and that's when the child returned to the pool. The mother realized her son was in the water minutes later and pulled him out. The DCF says the death was an accident. They remind parents that somebody should always be actively watching children when they are in the pool. This does not mean play around or be on the phone or get involved in conversations. Designate a water watcher to keep an eye on the kids. And the American Academy of Pediatrics recommends that kids ages 4 and older learn to swim in order to help prevent a drowning like this one. On to national news now. More controversy involving the White House and costly travel by cabinet members. ABC's Serena Marshall has the latest.
They're pricey luxury charters, and the U.S. taxpayers have been picking up the tab. Several of President Trump's cabinet secretaries choosing private flights over commercial.
I've heard the criticisms.
The Secretary of Health and Human Services, Tom Price, responding on Fox News after flying for work at a cost of more than $400,000. Price now regretting the flights and promising to repay the cost of his own seat, roughly $52,000, a mere 13% of the total.
Well, clearly the demonstration by paying for my portions of these trips, I think, is a huge demonstration. It's unique. It's never been done before. Unprecedented, as I'm told.
Also unprecedented, though, are cabinet secretaries flying non-commercial. Just 24 hours ago, President Trump offering no defense. Price isn't alone. Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin under an internal investigation after he requested a government plane for his honeymoon and took a costly government jet to Kentucky with his wife, where they viewed the eclipse. EPA Director Scott Pruitt facing questions about $58,000 worth of flights on a chartered jet and government planes. The latest secretary under scrutiny, Interior Secretary Ryan Zinke. He's chartered 3 flights since his confirmation. The powerful House Oversight Committee now opening a bipartisan investigation, asking for travel records from all 24 federal agencies since the inauguration. Serena Marshall, ABC News, Washington.
Let's talk Wall Street now. Jeff Stern joins us. And Jeff, Wall Street began the week a little off in the red. How did things end today so far?
Ray, we weren't looking good to begin the week, but it's come back, so that's great. About 0.5% for the Dow. NASDAQ's up close to 1% for the week, while the S&P about 0.5%. We know Monday was not good for any of the markets, but everyone's come back. S&P hit an all-time high this week. We know the Dow as well as the NASDAQ hit highs last week. 10-year Treasuries actually ticked up to about 2.31%. We know there's a lot of noise going on, no matter if it's political, controversial, humanitarian. But the markets just have not seemed to care, and they've been going up and up and up. So I woke up this morning, the futures were negative, but let's see how we're currently trading. The Dow Jones Industrial Average, 22,361, down 19.5 points, 0.1% in the negative, while NASDAQ, 6,484, up 31 points, that 0.5%, leading the way. S&P, 2,514, up 5 points, 0.1%.
Well, Jeff, the streaming service Roku is now a public company. How was their first day of trading? Yesterday was the first day of trading. They came out at $14 a share. That was on the high end of what they were thinking. The symbol is great because it's ROKU, just the way the company is pronounced. So they got that on the NASDAQ. They raised $219 million with a valuation overall of $1.3 billion. Roku sold 9 million shares, and a couple early investors sold another 7 million shares. A total of 15.67 million shares are being traded. First day, Ray, was up 68%. 23.5 is what they closed at. Some people aren't quite sure what they do, but basically they make your TV a smart TV so you can stream all your shows as far as Netflix, HBO Go, ESPN. And actually, interestingly, in 2009, they left Netflix. So this company started from Netflix, and then they came on their own in 2009.
Great first day. Last year, though, they lost $42 million, so it's kind of interesting. We have to keep our eyes on this. As we know, some of the tech companies this year came out and went up, like Snapchat, Blue Apron, and then they've come straight down. But last I checked, they're trading around $28 a share, so that doubled in 2 days, but for sure we'll keep our eyes on it, Ray.
Now the growing streaming services.
Definitely.
All right, thanks,
what
Jeff.
will come next?
Yep, have a good weekend.
Enjoy yours.
All right, still to come on your news at noon, Melania Trump has a new focus. We'll explain what she's talking about now. And this little girl's video went viral when she was in the hospital, what she's doing now to help other children.
Once you get atrial fibrillation, you need to have a very close relationship with your primary doctor. Prevention is the whole ball game here, because once you have a stroke, you can't undo it. A year without stroke, it's a year that you can enjoy doing the things that you've worked all your life to finally get to do. You took care of yourself. You did what is necessary for you to be around one more year. And then next year, we'll celebrate one more year without a stroke.
There are many choices when it comes to AC companies. Our advice? Choose a company that performs employee background checks and is licensed with top manufacturers like Daikin. Daikin offers a 12-year parts and labor limited warranty. For better comfort and value, call Elite Heating and Air.
Hi, I'm Chef Bob. Watch Aprons in the Kitchen every Wednesday morning on ABC7, where we'll be serving up the most awesome dishes. Then stop by your neighborhood Publix, pick up the recipe card and all the ingredients.
I was always worried and scared. Mom was in pain. She wasn't going to get any better, and all the trips to the ER were painful for all of us. Then we called Tidewell Hospice, and everything changed. Now she has care in our home when she needs it, surrounded by family. We know we don't have much time left with Mom, but we decided to make the best out of that time. Tidewell Hospice, it's more than you think.
Need more space in your place? The More Space Place can help with Murphy beds that disappear to reveal a home office, living room, or den. Custom closets with designated areas for your shoes, bags, wardrobe, and accessories. Custom-built entertainment centers, garage storage systems, and more. The More Space Place has 3 showrooms next to Sonny's on US 41 South in Sarasota, on Lakewood Ranch Boulevard just south of State Route 64 in Bradenton, and on Tamiami Trail next to Panera Bread in Port Charlotte. Put more space in your place at the More Space Place.
Check out My Suncoast Dining on mysuncoast.com, your guide to the foodie lifestyle. ABC7's own Chef Judy serves up her favorite recipes, cooking tips and trends, dining blogs, step-by-step videos, and Suncoast Restaurant Guide. You'll find it all at mysuncoast.com/dining.
There are many choices when it comes to AC companies. Our advice? Choose a company that performs employee background checks and is licensed with top manufacturers like Daikin. Daikin offers a 12-year parts and labor limited warranty. For better comfort and value, call Elite Heating and Air.
The ABC7 Stock Report is brought to you by Sunset Cadillac. Now your ABC7 First Alert Weather Forecast with meteorologist John Scalzi.
We've got an 86-degree temperature. Actually, there's a few more clouds around that particular automatic icon is showing. 73-degree dew point. And we have an east wind blowing in at about 7. That east wind has been kind of instrumental in the forecast thus far. It's an east wind that's through a relatively deep layer of the atmosphere, and it's all across the peninsula of the state. 85 degrees in Wauchula, 84 in Arcadia, 86 in Mayaca, Parrish at 87, 86 in Bradenton, Sarasota, Venice, 83 in Boca Grande, 84 in Northport, and 83 in Punta Gorda. A lot of moisture lifting northward. We're getting rain today. The rain shower chance much better than it was yesterday. Put it at about 40% through the evening hours, and then I think overnight tonight probably 50% as this little cluster of showers continues to lift northward. Don't think there's going to be anything severe here or nothing terribly heavy, I don't think, but there will be some rain showers around. Right now things are pretty quiet, though parts of the eastern sections of Charlotte County are starting to get a little bit of light rainfall around. We're watching this cluster of showers down to the south of Cuba. Now this morning it encompassed a whole lot of the state of Cuba, and there was some thinking that as it lifted northward, computer models, at least some of them, suggested that it would probably form a low pressure area just in the southern tip of the state and lift northward. along the eastern seaboard of Florida. Well, watch what's happened to this cluster of clouds over the last 12 hours or so. It's kind of split, actually, with part of it kind of decaying away and another regrouping to the west of showers and thunderstorms. So we're now having to consider that this area will lift northward and possibly form a low pressure area in Gulf waters before gradually lifting northward, getting into more hostile environments and being whisked out into open waters. The long and short of that is that could potentially impact exactly how much rainfall we get here on the west coast of Florida as opposed to the east coast of Florida. That's one ingredient. The second ingredient is that we have another cluster of showers that's lifting toward the north and to the east. This has about a 20% chance of showers, and while that won't, impact us over the next 24 hours, it could impact us down the road, 2 or 3 days down. And so those are two complications in the forecast that we have to continue to watch. Plus, a little trough of low pressure located just to the north will also create an issue. The computer models are only being run for this one piece of energy just to our south, but it has shifted a little further to the west. And generally, if you draw a center line along this thing, a low pressure area forming in the southern tip of the state would probably track to the north and then be whisked out into the Gulf with some stronger winds aloft. Now, this is not the kind of a system that's going to create any major issues for us in terms of strong winds, but it will increase the moisture across the state and lead to much better rain chances with the potential of some heavier rain showers across the state of Florida. Where exactly those heavier rain showers will be, still a little early to tell, but with an easterly wind, it's likely to be the other coast. Still, we could see some isolated pockets of 2 to 4 inch rainfalls around here. So we'll watch those rain shower chances increase, spiking out Sunday into Monday, and then by probably Wednesday of next week, we'll be able to start trimming back our rainfall chances. Right?
All right. Thank you, John. Patients at a Puerto Rican nursing home are without power and water. Half of the residents there are diabetic, and some of them depend on breathing therapy that doesn't work without power. They've had power problems since Hurricane Irma hit Puerto Rico 4 weeks ago, and Maria only made things worse. They have a power generator, but the fuel is running very low. Some of the residents are going without therapy for up to 5 hours right now.
We have approximately 50% of the residents that have diabetes, and a lot of people that have mobility problems.
And some residents are now suffering from depression, having not recovered from the 2 hurricanes. Melania Trump is taking on the opioid crisis. Yesterday, she hosted experts on the topic, as well as people whose lives have been impacted by drug addiction. The First Lady is adding the opioid crisis to her agenda as drug overdose rates rise across the country. She says she looks forward to working with the Presidential Opioid Commission to combat drug addiction and teach children the dangerous consequences of drug abuse.
It's my platform as First Lady to help as many kids as I can with the many issues they face as they are growing up.
President Trump said over the summer that he would be declaring the epidemic an emergency, but that declaration is still tied up in process and review. In May, the president signed off on a request for $500 million toward the opioid crisis in his next budget. Now, this is a story that's inspired millions, largely due to a YouTube video made in the hospital. A little California girl is fighting a rare blood disease, and now she's doing her part to help others. This 4-year-old went viral just for singing along to her favorite song, Overcomer by Mandisa. Leah's bone marrow transplant was successful, and now her family is focused on helping others in need of bone marrow transplants, especially those in the mixed race or minority communities.
If you're white and from Northern European background, the likelihood of finding a match is 70%. If you're African American, it drops to 18%.
Leah has become a poster child of sorts for beamatch.org, helping to dramatically increase the number of prospective donors. Great story there. Let's go now to the Korean Sam Bar in Sarasota and check in for the first time today with Chef Judy. Hey, Judy.
Hi, Ray. I have to tell you, I'm so excited to be here. I came in several weeks ago before Irma to try their Korean food and their sushi. It is so on point. Korean is that fresh flavors of kimchi and sweetness with the meats. Such a variety you're going to see today of incredible seafood stews and sizzling pots and bibimbap. There's a great amount of food that's going to be here, and we're going to bring it to you. Now, they lost power for 8 days, so they lost everything in this restaurant. So it's all the more reason that we as locals need to come out here and to support our great restaurants that lost power. So stay with me throughout the hour. We are at the Sandbar right on 301, and you are going to love it. Everybody that's here today, they're regulars. They come in 2 or 3 times a week for lunch and dinner. So we'll bring it all to you in just a few minutes right here at Sandbar on 301.
The Alfa Romeo Stelvio takes the modern compact luxury crossover and injects it with personality.
Every crossover should be this good to drive.
Rediscover your passion for driving at Alfa Romeo of Sarasota.
Attention Sarasota and surrounding cities. It's the final days of the Bacon's Furniture Relocation Sell-Off. We must liquidate everything in the store at huge savings as fast as possible. Do not miss this opportunity to purchase quality sofas, bedrooms, dining rooms, patio furniture, mattresses, and more. All at the absolute lowest prices possible. Don't miss the final days of the Bacon's Furniture and Design Relocation Sell-Off. Nobody beats Bacon's.
This is an important medical announcement. Xarelto and Pradaxa have been linked to uncontrollable bleeding and even death. If you've been prescribed one of these drugs and have experienced these dangerous side effects, you may be entitled to substantial compensation. Studies show that Pradaxa can cause more heart attacks than warfarin, and other countries have already issued safety warnings against this drug. Call now for a free assessment of your case and potential money damages. The call is confidential. There's no cost, and you may be eligible. Juries have awarded millions of dollars to Pradaxa victims, and thousands of Xarelto victims are filing their legal cases. Call the Drug Watch hotline. If you or a loved one used Xarelto or Pradaxa and experienced uncontrollable bleeding, brain hemorrhage, or even death, you must call now.
Call 800-793-6055. 800-793-6055.
Today, everyone is looking for more fashionable choices in flooring than ever before. And G. Fried has responded with a huge selection of carpets, tile, wood, laminate, and vinyl. Installed by a highly skilled team, G. Fried has got everything you're looking for and more. The next time you think about quality flooring, think G. Fried Flooring America. G. Fried Flooring America. Our world is at your feet.
Start your day with Ray, Jacqueline, and John, the new Good Morning Suncoast team. Weekdays starting at 5 a.m. on ABC 7, your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
I went in skeptical and came away impressed.
Stelvio can spring from a standstill to 60 miles per hour in 5.4 seconds, a segment best.
Rediscover your passion for driving at Alfa Romeo of Sarasota.
Welcome back. It was a week ago today. We had a canary in our studio that flew the coop on us, but this time we've got a dog, and so far the leash is being held tightly. Shouldn't be an issue. Let's go to Marcia and John right now.
What a sweet dog, too. Beauty.
Yes.
What a beauty.
Isn't she gorgeous?
She's lovely.
Yes. This is Isabella, and Isabella is a standard poodle. She's 4 years old, and I'm telling you, when God created this dog, perfect. She talks. And she sings.
Those cameras are scary, aren't they?
No, actually, she's talking to you. She's saying, I love you, John.
Oh, there you go.
And she is really...
What's her story?
You know, she came from a home where there was illness, and then, of course, you know, just couldn't continue to take care of Isabel. But her owners trained her. She loves to ride in cars, and she occasionally puts her head out, and she loves, look at this beautiful hair, and she loves that air going through the beautiful hair. She is very playful. She loves to run around, and I understand if a squirrel is within the close vicinity, she will give it a good chase for its life. And she is a jumper, but not on people. She's like a pogo stick, and this is how she gets her exercise. It's kind of like jumping jack. She goes up and down. And this, you can see, she was watching us in the green room. She thought Ray did a fabulous job, and so did you, John. And she was talking to you the whole time. And so, and look at these beautiful bows, huh?
Any health problems that we know of?
None that we know of at this
old?
particular moment, and she's 4 years young.
Oh, so she's a youngster.
Oh, she is, absolutely.
Just got rid of some of your puppy energy, and now you're all ready to make somebody a wonderful addition to the family.
She is spayed. She is microchipped, so that when you come and you get her from Florida Poodle Rescue, after you make your application, and of course you go through the process and the interview and the home check and so on and so forth, she would be ready to come home. And I'm telling you, this dog is a delight. You know, she has just been, she's happy. She's really, really a happy dog. And she smiles, and then when she smiles, she talks.
Poodles are amazingly smart
dogs.
Gosh, they're right up there in the top 5 intelligence.
Yes, for sure. And, you know, if you want a great partner that will walk with you, maybe do a little trot, sing with you. And she's very respectful. I understand that when anybody goes into the home, they go first and she waits, and then she goes into the door. That's pretty terrific, I think.
Good manners.
Yeah, for sure.
Get in touch with you, Marcia. Is that the best way to do it?
Well, I would say get in touch with Florida Poodle Rescue, and the number is 727-265-1766. Give them a call, fill out the app, get the interview, and Isabella will be waiting.
Isabella, I hope you find a home today. You sure are a sweet dog. Marcia, thanks very much.
Thanks, John.
Ray?
All right, thank you, folks. Meantime, a pet shop owner is using social media to track down a parrot thief. A $16,000 bird was stolen out of a pet store 2 days ago in Michigan. The pet shop is home to some 200 birds. Some are for boarding, but some are for sale. And this particular bird belonged to someone who's been making payments on the bird for almost a year and was less than a month away from taking the bird home than this.
Very maddening. Very. I mean, who takes a pet? Like, what is that about? I don't get it. The bird is a $1,600 bird.
Everybody knew who he was. Everybody who came to the store knew who Max was.
Well, here it is. Security footage from inside the store shows the exact moment that Max was taken. There's your suspect. The store owner says the girl looks suspicious. Casa La Parrot is now taking to Facebook, hoping that somebody will recognize this person and turn her in. Okay, well, that video should help. Time for lunch. Let's go back to Chef Judy, who is at Korean Sambar on 301. Judy?
You know, I'm so happy to introduce you to the owner because this has been a great experience. We met and I felt like we connected immediately. You didn't know who I was, but we just had this great food connection. Tell us your history, what got you into cooking, and this used to be everybody, the curry station, so people know the ideal location. So tell us a little bit about your history.
I came here about 30 years ago, and I grew up with grandma and grandparents, my mom and dad. Always watched them cooking, so I've got grandma's recipe and mom's recipes. I love to cook and just kind of have people enjoy, try to stay as home cooking and authentic as possible. And my recipes are from all scratch, and I've been here for 30 years, but I lived in Korea for what, 17 years?
So you have the balance of both. Now, when did the restaurant officially open?
Our restaurant in Bradenton was about, had it for 11 years. That was 12 years ago.
That's a track record.
Yes, about 12 years ago we had opened, and we sold it about a year ago.
And what made you move over here to Sarasota, and fortunately right near the WWSB home quarters? Our station is around the corner.
Yes. We always lived here in Sarasota, and my father has Taekwondo martial arts school where I actually brought up here in Sarasota as well. So it was quite a bit commute for us So
that makes sense. Now, we're going to get to all this deliciousness in just a few minutes, but I want to talk about your Wall of Fame because I see so many, two yups. This is amazing, from so many different people, from IMG and professionals. Tell us about that.
When we had the restaurant in Bradenton, where we had a lot of athletes, famous athletes came along and had all those sushi and Korean foods, and they always gave us thank you notes for having a delicious food.
Well, expect a few from WWSB, because I have to tell you, this place is great. I'm so bringing you Scalzi for lunch. Now, we're going to get back into the food when we come back, so sit tight. You're going to want to probably watch the video later on today to know exactly what we're talking about, but they're open for lunch and dinner Monday through Saturday, and you need to come here. The food is delicious. We want to support our local people that had a hard time during the hurricane, and we'll do so with more deliciousness coming up from Sambar Korean and Sushi right here on 301.
As a singer-songwriter, it's all about creating high-performance art that moves people. Same is true in making gorgeous cars. Fiat designs it. You're the artist.
Choose your palette just about any color combo inside out. No small wonder, state-of-the-art style Fiat.
Now this moves me. Oh, they're playing my song.
Let the art of Fiat move you at Fiat of Sarasota.
This is an important medical announcement. Bard IVC filters have been linked to punctured veins and problems with migration. Anyone who's received a Bard IVC filter must receive medical monitoring and may be entitled to substantial compensation. If you have the Bard Recovery G2 or G2 Express filter, you are in a class of patients who should be compensated for some expenses. Call now for a free assessment of your case and potential money damages. This call is confidential. There's no cost and you may be eligible. Juries have awarded millions of dollars to people who should have been warned about the risks of the Bard IVC filters. Call the IVC Filter Hotline if you or a loved one has received an IVC filter and experienced a vein puncture or required medical monitoring. You must call now.
Call 800-329-3089. 800-329-3089.
Are you currently on Medicare? In other words, do you carry the red, white, and blue Medicare card? If so, are you suffering from chronic back pain? If you answered yes, you may be eligible for a pain-relieving back brace covered by Medicare at little to no cost, shipped directly to your home for free. These medical-grade back braces are ideal for lower back pain, arthritis, spinal disorders, and other chronic back problems. Will you qualify for a medical-grade back brace?
Call Back Brace America at 1-800-683-9262.
Who else has been taking your prescriptions? Keep your medicine and your family safe and secure. Mind your meds. To learn how we can help, visit the Partnership for Drug-Free Kids at drugfree.org.
All hands on deck. What's up? I want to point out 3 tips for using the home computer more safely. Point away.
First, stop. Make sure your software is up to date and that you've password protected your computer's login and Wi-Fi connection.
Next, think before visiting a site, opening attachments, or clicking on links.
Then connect, knowing you're helping make the web safer for you
and for everyone. Make Stop, Think, Connect part of your daily online routine.
Live from our studios on Florida's Suncoast, this is ABC 7 News at noon. Your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
And welcome back. Florida Governor Rick Scott at the White House today, meeting with President Trump. The governor will update the president on his recent visit to Puerto Rico. Scott has the Florida National Guard on standby if needed, and he had this to say about conditions in Puerto Rico.
They're an island. It's like you take the power, which is the biggest issue you have, besides search and rescue and things like that.
The governor is also waiving tuition fees to all Puerto Rican students, saying he's sure they want to get back to their island, but in the meantime, they'll have in-state tuition in Florida. The Trump administration is pushing back against criticism that the U.S. government has been slow to respond to hurricane-battered Puerto Rico. Maggie Rowley has the latest from New York.
10 days after Hurricane Maria devastated Puerto Rico, food and water are growing increasingly scarce. Some hospitals on the Puerto Rican island of Vieques reduced to mere triage tents. And thousands of tons of much-needed supplies like food and medicine are left stranded in ports in San Juan.
The total supply chain of distribution has been interrupted.
The president's defending the federal response, tweeting this morning, "The fact is that Puerto Rico has been destroyed by 2 hurricanes. Big decisions will have to be made as to the cost of its rebuilding." FEMA tells ABC that all of their goods have been distributed. And Acting Secretary of Homeland Security Elaine Duke has called the response a good news story, a phrase the mayor of San Juan bashes this morning on CNN.
This is not a good news story. This is a people are dying story. This is a life or death story.
Other lawmakers have questioned the speed of the federal response.
Inexcusably slow and ineffective.
And are now wondering what big decisions on rebuilding the president's latest tweets refer to. Homeland Security Advisor Tom Bossert insists the president is fully committed to helping Puerto Rico rebuild.
The island authority in general was Puerto Rico was $72 billion in debt. There's a restructuring effort underway. What the president did was acknowledge that publicly and privately.
The administration also points to President Trump waiving shipping restrictions on Thursday and also sending a 3-star general to coordinate relief efforts in Puerto Rico. President Trump plans to go to Puerto Rico on Tuesday, and today, Acting Secretary of Homeland Security Elaine Duke is visiting the island to view relief efforts. Maggie Rulli, ABC News, New York.
I got a text during the news about Skiarees, the great group that performs behind Moat Marina.
They're awesome.
They resume Sunday at 2 p.m.
Okay.
Hopefully the weather will cooperate for that.
You know, they have a decent chance of having reasonable weather, you know, peaks with some sunshine. Yeah, absolutely. You know, Saturday and Sunday are not going to be all-day rainouts. I'll make that clear. But we will have much better rain chances on those 2 days than we have had in previous days. And at some point, probably toward the beginning of the work week, we're going to probably have some periods of some heavier rainfall around, so we'll have to watch for that.
We're used to that, yeah.
It's a tricky forecast, and we're still kind of, we'll be ironing out the details as we head into the next several days. Lots of ingredients, and some of them, you know, kind of murky. We're looking at cloud cover down to the south of us. It is that area that has shifted to the west that the Hurricane Center continues to watch and gives about a 40%, that's it, chance of any kind of development. Now, by development, we're talking maybe a tropical depression, maybe a very, very weak tropical storm with a very brief life. This is not going to be a dangerous storm in terms of any kind of wind or severe weather, nothing like that. But it will be a rainmaker, and it could lead to some fairly heavy rainfall amounts over the course of 4 or 5 days. It's not going to be a quick, short rain event, unfortunately. We have showers now lifting to the north from the south as moisture has increased across the region. And there's no reason to think that a 40% rain chance will not be seen across the area this evening. And then overnight tonight could go as high as 50%. Tomorrow, I think we're looking at 60% rain chance. And it goes up from there. We'll talk all about that forecast coming up for you in just a few, Ray.
All right, thank you, John. The U.S. is warning against Americans visiting Cuba and ordering non-essential diplomats and all relatives out of Cuba after a string of mysterious sonic attacks. In fact, the incidents affected at least 21 U.S. diplomats and their families. Some suffered long-lasting symptoms, and at least one had permanent hearing loss. The devices used in the incidents have never been found, 2 U.S. officials said, but they appeared to be a type of sonic weapon that emitted sound waves capable of inflicting physical harm. Embassy officials are considering a range of additional measures, including possibly closing the embassy altogether in Cuba. Cuba's government firmly denies any involvement in these sonic attacks. Although American tourists aren't known to have been hurt, they could be exposed if they travel to Cuba. Well, it happened again at Yosemite National Park in Central California. In fact, a Florida man was injured after a huge chunk of rock broke off from a large granite block at the popular hiking spot called El Capitan. This is the second rock slide in 2 days. It fell onto the valley floor and exploded into a cloud of dust and debris. It comes one day after another slab dropped, killing a British climber. Witnesses say the second rock fall was 10 times worse than the first. One man was injured after a rock crashed through his SUV's sunroof as he drove with his family.
Something came through our sunroof, but we didn't know it was closed. And we didn't know it was coming, what had happened, but it shattered and the dust just poured in.
Glass went flying from the sunroof.
And so we were trying to outrun it. It was like, go, let's go.
Other climbers posted video on social media just moments before it came crashing down. Rocks falling on the mountain Wednesday killed one man and injured a woman. El Capitan remained open after that deadly rock slide. Also in California, at least 2 people were injured after a car went over the side of a mountain road. It was driving on the Glendora Angeles National Forest when it veered off the pavement. The car was found 300 feet down. 2 women were airlifted out and are expected to be okay. Also, a Good Samaritan was riding his bike nearby when he saw the crash and climbed all the way down to help the 2 women. All right, back to lunch now, and at the Korean Sambar in 301. Let's find our chef Judy with more on that fascinating restaurant. Judy?
There's a lot to talk about with food, so yep, let's get right into it with the seafood pancake.
This is our traditional Korean seafood pancake with assorted vegetables, scallions, and zucchini and carrots with the flour and assorted seafood. And I have a bulgogi. That's a beef bulgogi marinated in some rice wine with the soy sauce, and it's just cooked in the wok, very light, no fat.
Yep, that's what I love. Now, very traditional Korean to have all these little side dishes.
Yes, that's basically for breakfast and lunch and dinner. Koreans do eat rice with some main entree, and some of those side dishes are very healthy, small, just side dishes, very vegetables.
So pungent, I love it. Let's go over to this bowl.
And that's the stone pot rice. Rice on the bottom with assorted vegetables, and you get to have a choice of a protein, chicken, tofu, or beef, or pork, and topped with egg, and you mix it all with a spicy sauce.
I love it. So it can be something that's vegetarian. Over here?
That's the spicy chicken bulgogi, and that's one of our famous chicken bulgogi. The sauce is marinated, and the sauce, again, I make it from the scratch.
It's so good. Now this, from now on, when I walk in, start making me that. And since people have seen it that have walked by, they've been ordering this soup.
That is right, and that's called seafood noodle soup, and the spiciness of scale goes from 0 to 5, so you can have non-spicy to spicy.
I'm a number 1, just so you know on that, okay?
Sounds good.
Also sushi, you've really brought the Japanese style in here as well.
Right, since we had a sushi and Korean restaurant in Bradenton, we had 4 different sushi chefs working very hard with it, and Yup taught them how to make all the sushis, and that's really traditional styles of the Japanese, and he does enjoy, and my children love sushi.
Yeah, and it's so fresh. The tuna is incredible. Now this sizzling pot of soup.
That is called silky tofu soup with assorted vegetables. The broth is just a vegetarian broth, so that is very good soup of stew with the silky tofu.
And I know we're just about out of time. Let's get over to here because this is really popular.
That is correct. It is Korean galbi, short beef rib. It's also marinated in same sauce as a bulgogi, and that sizzles and it stays with the bone, and it's tasty.
It's so good. You're going to want to lick your fingers. Our buddies from Gold Rush Barbecue drove up from Venice because they were watching us in the first segment. Said it looks tremendous. So that's another reason to come. So they have vegan, they have gluten-free, they have vegetarian, but they have some great meat dishes and seafood dishes. Thank you so much, but we're not quite done yet. After I get a bite of this, we're switching over to dessert. So stay with us. We're coming back in just a few moments.
Attention Sarasota and surrounding cities. It's the final days of the Bacon's Furniture Relocation Sell-Off. We must liquidate everything in the store at huge savings as fast as possible. Do not miss this opportunity to purchase quality sofas, bedrooms, dining rooms, patio furniture, mattresses, and more. All at the absolute lowest prices possible. Don't miss the final days of the Bacon's Furniture and Design Relocation Sell-Off. Nobody beats Bacon's.
Since 1972, Sleep King has provided quality mattresses and accessories at the best discounted prices available. Top brands like Simmons, Sealy, Serta, Beautyrest, iComfort, and more. With available free delivery, free financing, and free setup and removal. For a comfortable night's sleep with same-day delivery, even if we have to carry it on our backs. Trust Sleep King of Sarasota. Buy it today, sleep on it tonight.
Why settle for less? Get more for your money at Sunset Subaru in Sarasota. Nobody beats Subaru in service quality, vehicle quality, and overall quality. And ALG named Subaru the 2017 top brand for residual value. Now, lease the most fuel-efficient vehicle in its class, a new Subaru Outback for just $239 a month, or get 0% financing with complimentary maintenance included. Get more for your money. Go to Sunset Subaru in Sarasota.
The following message is brought to you by Mesobook.com.
People who have been diagnosed with mesothelioma have many questions. How did I get this disease? What are my treatment options? How will this affect my loved ones? You need answers, which is why we offer a free book written by medical professionals who have treated mesothelioma.
Call toll-free at 1-800-777-1366 or go to Mesobook.com.
Start your day with a new Good Morning Suncoast team. Weekdays starting at 5 a.m. Now your ABC 7 First Alert Weather Forecast with meteorologist John Scalzi.
We have an 86-degree air temperature. We have a dew point coming in at 73 and an east wind coming in at about 7. Fair amount of rain shower activity down to the south of us. Some of it has been heavy down to the south as well. The general trend has been for this to weaken as it lifts northward, this line of showers that you see here. But still, we could eke out a couple of places where there could be some pretty good brief downpours of rain as the system lifts northward. Right now, moving through parts of eastern sections of Charlotte County. There hasn't been a whole lot of action here locally quite yet, but it's closing in on areas around Punta Gorda over the course of the next hour or so. You'll probably see some light to moderate rain showers there. We have about a 40% chance of seeing showers across our area. Hurricane Center watches this cluster of clouds south of Cuba for possible development over the course of the next couple of days anyway. And the general trend will be for this to lift northward, probably forming an area of low pressure down in the southern tip of the state as we head into tomorrow. And then that system will lift north across west central Florida before it's pushed out into Gulf waters. And then we have another area, another tropical wave that's lifting off to the north and to the east, has about a 20% chance of development over the course of a 5-day period. So all of these little areas of low pressure kind of teaming up together to produce a decent chance of rainfall. Now, the system to the south of us, if you look at the computer model forecasts for this system, they're kind of spread out, and there certainly is some variation. But if you kind of take a center line approach to this, it's shifted a little bit further to the west than it was 24 hours ago. We had seen the possibility of an east coast low pressure area building. Now it looks more like a west coast low pressure area building. The heaviest of the weather would be to the east of that low, and I think with an easterly wind blowing over a large stretch of Atlantic, it's probably still the eastern seaboard that'll see the heaviest amount of rainfall over the next 24. The system lifts north, it enters into a hostile wind environment, and then it just kind of falls apart as it's pushed back out into the open waters of the Atlantic. Well, that's system number one. There could be another low pressure area building to the north as well, around the Jacksonville area. This frontal boundary pushes south and is pulled across the region by a low pressure area that exits, but then another low may well develop as our first low kind of decreases in intensity. That's another computer model suggestion. So it's a complex kind of scenario in a very disorganized, kind of chaotic system down there that's beginning to evolve. But one thing is for sure, with lots of moisture lifting north, with a frontal boundary helping to create a lift necessary for this system, and with several areas of low pressure at least trying to develop, it is certainly possible that we could see some periods of heavy rain someplace. So rain chances increasing. This is the moisture that's available for rain. And again, I continue to show this, that the moisture where it's red is the wettest of the air, and that will be right over north central and west central Florida over the next couple of days. Rainfall futurecast shows some pretty good rainfall around Maybe a little twist in the atmosphere here as it moves out into the Gulf. Maybe another system developing over there near Jacksonville with total rainfall amounts, particularly on the East Coast, perhaps coming in greater than 7 inches in places with time. That's certainly a possibility and something we'll continue to watch and monitor on a day-by-day basis as we head through the weekend. 40% chance of showers today, increasing to almost 60 or 70%, maybe better as we head into Sunday, Monday. Ray?
Thank you, John. Walmart's e-commerce site is preparing to launch its own private label brand, which will include more than 60 food and household items. Walmart purchased Jet.com last year for $3 billion in order to increase its digital presence. Earlier this year, Walmart began selling its own private label brands such as Great Value and Sam's Choice on Jet.com, but the brands are not popular with Jet.com's younger customers, so the new private label items will launch exclusively on Jet.com for the first year, but eventually be available on Walmart.com. They may later be sold in Walmart stores as well. IKEA is acquiring a new on-demand labor company. TaskRabbit allows users in 40 U.S. cities to search for taskers who they can hire for specific tasks such as laundry or moving. One of the categories available on TaskRabbit is furniture assembly. The deal will make it easier for shoppers buying IKEA's do-it-yourself furniture to find handy people who can put it together for them instead. For me, that's a great idea. Still to come, a big name helping hurricane victims. Will tell you what Beyonce is doing to help the cause next.
There are many choices when it comes to AC companies. Our advice? Choose a company that performs employee background checks and is licensed with top manufacturers like Daikin. Daikin offers a 12-year parts and labor limited warranty. For better comfort and value, call Elite Heating and Air.
Hi, I'm Chef Bob. Watch Aprons in the Kitchen every Wednesday morning on ABC 7, where we'll be serving up the most awesome dishes. Then stop by your neighborhood Publix, pick up the recipe card and all the ingredients.
Get the lowest prices of the year during the Ram Power Days event going on now at Sunset Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Sarasota. Don't just settle for what's available at a smaller lot. Come shop the Suncoast's largest selection of Ram trucks. Get maximum cargo space and more comfort with a new Ram Quad Cab at rock bottom pricing. Or spread out in your spacious new Ram Crew Cab and save up to $10,000. Better prices, bigger selection. Go to Sunset Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Sarasota.
Attention, Americans eligible for Medicare. Are you getting all the benefits you're entitled to? Did you know there may be money available to lower your medical prescription costs? Call Health Markets and we'll tell you if you qualify.
Hi, I'm Dr. Martin Jeetsi. It's a new Medicare year. That means more changes and more confusion. The key question is, what can you do now to ensure you get the care you need in the coming year?
Call Health Markets today. You may qualify to save money on prescriptions. We'll help you find plans that may cost less, cover more, and could even lower your prescription costs to increase your savings. We help you find all the benefits you're entitled to, and we do it at no cost.
Make sure you have what you need to get the care that's right for you.
Find out if you qualify to receive extra help with your prescriptions. Call the number on the screen now. Representatives are standing by.
Are you getting the most out of your Medicare plan? Are you sure? Many people with Medicare are eligible for plans that include extra benefits in addition to those found in original Medicare. Benefits like dental, vision, and prescription drug coverage. Call now to see if you're eligible to enroll. The consultation is free with no obligation to enroll. In addition to hospital and medical coverage, at no extra cost, you could also get coverage for prescription drugs, dental, hearing, vision, and more. In many areas, plans with benefits are available with $0 copays for many services, $0 monthly premiums, or $0 deductibles. That's hospital, medical, prescription drug, dental coverage, and more included in one plan with premiums that may be as low as $0 a month. Call now to see if you're eligible to enroll. The consultation is free and there's no obligation to enroll.
Call 1-800-620-2254. That's 1-800-620-2254.
Download the all-new ABC 7 First Alert weather app now.
There are many choices when it comes to AC companies. Our advice? Choose a company that performs employee background checks and is licensed with top manufacturers like Daikin. Daikin offers a 12-year parts and labor limited warranty. For better comfort and value, call Elite Heating and Air.
It's been a great visit over here. Talk about fresh Korean specialties. The menu is so large and will be really creative, but they'll give you that specialty of coming to the table and explaining things. And of course, some of the best sushi, I have to say, so incredibly fresh. The salmon and tuna, just beautiful with that eel sauce. But you know, I always finish with dessert. And of course, it would be the mochi. Really popular, comes in green tea, lemon, they have a red bean paste, several assortments. But this is truly the chance to enjoy an authentic dessert. And it's not too sweet. It's an interesting texture. You can see it starting to just kind of melt down, so you can tuck into this. There's also a great Mexican ice cream place just down from here. So check out Sambar on 301. You're going to love it. Guys, have a great weekend.
Judy, that looks great. Thank you very much. Beyonce is the latest big name helping with hurricane relief. She unveiled a new song last night. It's actually a remix of a popular song titled Mi Gente, originally performed by J Balvin and Willie William. Proceeds from the single's sales will help residents in Puerto Rico, Mexico, and other affected areas. Within an hour of posting this on Instagram, its teaser video generated more than 1 million views. That's a good start right away.
Wow.
Yes.
That's impressive.
So I get the impression this is a tough forecast to nail down right now.
It is.
Yeah.
It is, because there are some things that are only to be seen in computer models that haven't actually materialized yet. And depends on which computer model you go to, there can be great variations in the results. So, you know, at this point, it's kind of a wait and see game, but with the knowledge that there's wet weather on the way.
The Alfa Romeo Stelvio takes the modern compact luxury crossover and injects it with personality.
Every crossover should be this good to drive.
Rediscover your passion for driving at Alfa Romeo of Sarasota.
What to do when your heating or air conditioning needs service or, heaven forbid, replacement? Call Air Now today. We've been serving Sarasota and Manatee County since 1946. We offer $49.95 tune-ups, lease or finance options, and remember, service today or it's free.